Let's talk about some of the pros and cons of buying some lightsabers on eBay. So here are a variety of lightsabers. I mostly didn't purchase them on eBay. I did purchase this one on eBay though. This is a Corbanth MPP 2.0. But I'll go through the pros first and then I'll finish with the cons at the end. And as a disclaimer right up front, I'm an eBay seller and I sell some sabers sometimes. So anyway, I just don't want it to seem like a conflict of interest. It still maybe inherently is. Sorry about that, but just wanted to be totally transparent about that. Okay, let's start off with the pros. So one of the big pros of buying on eBay is, as a buyer, you get the eBay and the buyer protection, which is very strong. So eBay and PayPal have very strong buyer protections in place, so that if you have any type of problem with your order, it should be, it'll probably work in your favor to get your money back or to find some kind of resolution to the problem. And that's a little edge that eBay has over buying from just, a random website. Another positive about eBay is you typically get faster shipping. So if you buy something on eBay, eBay really encourages their sellers to ship quickly, and in some cases they get discounted fees and such if they consistently ship faster. So that means you could get a saber, like if you're a US buyer and you buy something on eBay from another US buyer, you could get your saber in just a few days or maybe a week, which is pretty darn awesome, because if you purchase sabers from the saber companies, sometimes that can take a long time. So Ultra Sabers is usually fast, but they're so backlogged right now, you guys. And so even Ultra Sabers is taking several weeks before they ship. A lot of the other saber companies have usually been that way, it takes 2 to 3 weeks to ship. Sometimes it'll take 5 or 6 weeks or 8 weeks to ship. And if you purchase on eBay, it's almost always going to be faster. So that's a good thing. Another thing about eBay is you're getting the items used, which could have some negative aspects to it, but since you're getting the items secondhand, sometimes you can get them for a cheaper price. So you might be able to save a little bit of money, especially if you do bidding. So if you bid on an auction, I've found that some auctions don't get too many bidders on them. And that's where I've gotten a lot of really good deals, where I don't even wait around, like how people in the past would wait around to the last second and then, snipe and bid, at the last second to win the item. I don't even like to do that when I bid on things. I just I'll bid a day in advance, a few hours in advance, and put in my maximum bid. And sometimes I'll still end up winning something for a pretty decent price. So I would highly recommend that to you guys. You may be able to find some kind of diamonds in the rough that way. Another positive about eBay is you could end up with a saber that has a bunch of upgrades. So a bunch of upgrades, like add-on features. So for example, Ultra Sabers usually charges extra for AV switches or windows in the emitter, different things. And you could possibly get one on eBay that would include some of those things for still a pretty decent price. Although, the price really depends. It depends on how the seller sets it and how the auction kind of goes as well. But you could also end up with some blade plugs included, or kind of a nice blade, or just different kind of additional features like that add a little value. Now, another thing about the eBay is they have this program called eBay Bucks. I don't know if you've heard about it. It's sort of a rewards program. So if you sign up for eBay Bucks, you get, I think it's 1% back on any of your orders. And so, if you're getting something like a saber, it can add up, not when it's 1%, but sometimes eBay will have a promotion where you get 6% back or 8% back. And what eBay does after that is they'll kind of issue you a gift certificate a little later, and the gift certificate does expire. So, you don't want to, you're going to have to go back to eBay and buy something else if you do this. But it's a nice little extra perk if you're going to be purchasing something on eBay anyway. You can either get that 1% cash back or that 6 or 8% if they have a special promotion. But again, it's a limited gift certificate that you get if you do that. Now here are some of the cons of eBay. So eBay is not without its drawbacks. One of the cons is you're not supporting the original saber vendor. So you're not supporting Ultra Sabers or Saber Forge or Saber Trio, Vader's Vault, whoever. So it's just like if you buy a used book, you're not supporting that author or publisher that way. So you could see that as a con. On the other hand, some of you, maybe if you don't like certain saber companies, maybe you'd feel a little better about yourself if you buy it used because you know you haven't directly supported that company. Somebody out there might feel that way. I'm just tossing it out there. Another big con is the selection on eBay is very limited. So it's just very hit or miss what's going to be on there, and you probably won't have too much luck if you're looking for a very, very specific hilt model from a company. It's more like, say if you look for Vader's Vault Sabers, there'll be a handful of them on there. At least that's kind of how it is right now. So you'd have to look and see if the seller's offering it at a price that you would pay and see if it includes the features that you want. So that's another con. And then you may have to kind of compromise. So like maybe the LED color is not quite the one you would want, or some of the features you don't really care about, or maybe it's not even the exact hilt that you would prefer, but that's kind of what's online right now. So that's just eBay for you. And you also really need to check the feedback and the reputation of the individual sellers. So a lot of the people selling sabers are just some like random person that's getting rid of their saber, and they're using it as a garage sale, kind of like, oh, I don't want this lightsaber anymore and I'm selling it. And you really want to look for a detailed description, where they talk about any faults, any like blemishes on the saber or any problems with the saber. You want to look for details on that, and if you're not sure, definitely ask the seller about that. But at any rate, eBay can be a really great place to get some secondhand sabers. You can save some money. You can also end up paying a little more too, especially when things are sold out or the lead times are very long on some of the other saber sites. So sometimes it's cheaper, sometimes it's more expensive. It really, really depends. But one final positive that I should note is you can find kind of some things that are out of production sometimes. So occasionally a lightsaber or, certain, well, like for example, all of the Master Replicas lightsabers. eBay is one of the best places probably to get those, just because Master Replicas, well, the company came back recently, and I won't get into that, but they're not currently making lightsabers anymore, so all of those Master Replicas lightsabers you have to get secondhand. So a lot of them are on eBay, and that's kind of one of the main places you're able to purchase them. So that's just a quick summary of some good and bad about eBay. There's a lot of good, a few bad things as well. And feel free to add any additional kind of pros and cons you can think about from buying from eBay. But I don't know, I've had some really good luck. I've found some nice deals on eBay. I should say, including this MPP 2.0 and also this Saber Forge Exile. I got some pretty decent deals on those. And they were both auctions. So again, I would encourage you to maybe check out some of the auctions. So that's just kind of getting sabers on eBay in a nutshell.